This is the G Podcast with your host, Tommy B.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 246 of This is the G Podcast. Yes. What's up? What's up, y'all? Like I said, man, just as the Penguin ends, America begins, and I am getting ready through watching. His name was Oz Cobblepot. That's the new name I'm giving.
Cobblepot.
I am prepared after watching the Penguin on Max. I am prepared. So each week we do news, politics, pop culture, the piping hot tea from the one and only Tanya B. Man, Tanya B is out this week. Vi is doing his thing, man, pre-Thanksgiving. And I appreciate Talib for being in the building. Talib, thank you, man.
What's happening? How y'all doing out there? Radio Land.
Talib, you just can't get enough.
Nah, brother. I love it. I live for the G Podcast.
I just can't get enough. Appreciate you, man. And, of course, I'm Tommy B, man, so if you hear the sarcasm in my voice, I'm just pushing back on all the righteous indignation and the crying out there, man. I tell people, man, and you can relate to this, Talib. Mm-hmm. You know, my whole thing is you got to call it what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I think I said this before the election. Well, we've been going for a while with this, election, but when the pairing first took place, I said, look, sometimes you just can't be taking sides like it's the Super Bowl.
Right.
You got to understand who is going to be in the best interest of the country and, call no matter what side, call them out. So It's going to be interesting, man, as we watch what's going on. I'm not going to get into it right now. We're going to do a political roundtable toward the end. But, you got to be able to call them out. That's all I can say, no matter what side. Okay?
True.
We got a lot going on, man, so I want to go ahead and get into news with Syracuse Mike. So let's go ahead and do that.
News team, assemble!
It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
I labeled this one, man, why can't we have nice things? So here we go.
One person was arrested following a mass shooting during Tuskegee University's 100th homecoming week.
Oh my gosh.
Video from early Sunday's shooting was posted on X. 25-year-old Jaquez Myrick of Montgomery, Alabama has been arrested on a federal charge of possession of a machine gun. Officials say an 18-year-old was confirmed dead at the scene. The victim was not a student at Tuskegee. Alabama authorities say 12 people were injured by gunfire and taken to hospitals. Another 4 had injuries not related to gunfire. Classes at Tuskegee have been canceled for Monday.
Real quick, Talib, quick question, man, and I'm not making light of it, but it's kind of an annual thing. Somebody at one homecoming annually is going to do some kind of shooting. Why do you think, bro?
I really wish I knew, man.
And it's not the students. It's not. There's somebody from the outside coming in, but I'm just curious, man. Your thoughts?
With the it's gun laws, bro. It's lackadaisical gun laws without common sense. Instructions, people just go stupid.
Yeah, and it's the Wild Wild West because it's open carry for the most part. You're in Alabama. Yep. All right, y'all, rest in power in the world of dance.
Judith Jamison has died. She's an acclaimed dancer and choreographer who spent decades as artistic director of the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. She passed over the weekend following a brief illness. Judith Jamison was 81.
Rest in power, Judith Jamison. Wow. Had a chance to meet her, man, in the ATL. She was touring, I think it was either a book or she was, actually promoting a documentary on Alvin Ailey, man. Great lady, classy lady. She'll be missed.
Yeah.
And going to the next story, man, Matt Gaetz is now the Pied Piper of politics. So let's go.
Just as politicians on the Hill started to digest Donald Trump's pick for defense secretary, and we're referring to Fox News host Pete Hegseth, an even more controversial choice was announced. Republican Florida Congressman Matt Gaetz has been tapped to serve as U.S. Attorney General. Gaetz is controversial for many reasons. First, he was still under investigation by the House Ethics Committee until he resigned Wednesday. And former Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy blames Gaetz for his ouster as the GOP's party leader in the lower chamber.
And I'll give you the truth why I'm not Speaker. It's because one person, a member of Congress, wanted me to stop an ethics complaint because he slept with a 17-year-old.
That's McCarthy earlier this year. Gaetz has denied all of the accusations against him. In order to take charge as America's top law enforcement officer, Gaetz would have to be confirmed by the Senate, and that's not guaranteed.
Thus, he is the Pied Piper of politics. There you go. All right, a.k.a. Fulton County, also known as Shawshank. Here we go.
The U.S. Justice Department released a report Thursday that says conditions at the Fulton County Jail in Atlanta violate the 8th and 4th Amendments of the U.S. Constitution, along with the Americans with Disabilities Act and the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. The DOJ report follows an investigation of the jail.
Detention in the Fulton County Jail has amounted to a death sentence for dozens of people who have been murdered or who died as a result of the atrocious conditions inside the facility.
That's Christian Clark, Assistant Attorney General for Civil Rights. The investigation was prompted by the 2022 death of LaShawn Thompson. His death reveals severe neglect, including unsanitary cells, violence, and inadequate medical treatment, including from minors and individuals with mental illness. The investigation centered around the main jail in Atlanta and 3 annex facilities in the county.
You know, man, I had a good friend of the podcast, you know, Ronnie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And he was on, and because, you know, at the time they were talking about putting a lot more money, spending, I think, close to $1 billion on a new jail. And he was saying it really is about management. It's not, you know, you just pour, I mean, and I believe that. I believe, you know, you keep pouring money into these facilities, but you don't change how it's run.
Right.
And I think, you know, even though I think people get elected, reelected, and they keep going back, I think you got to take a closer look at how it's run. I mean, and in a lot of cases, like, for example, the young man who had mental illness, who was found with all the bed bugs.
Yeah.
You know, how could you not catch that? You understand what I'm saying? That's a management issue. That's an internal issue. That's not having people doing the rounds and going in and doing a welfare check. You know, so you know, I don't think it's all about spending money on new jails, man. I think you got to take a look at management.
Yeah, Tommy, that's a good analogy for what's happening with the federal government as well. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
keep throwing money at it. No, there's no, you know, it's, I don't think it's as simple as just management.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it also amounts to a certain amount of care, concern. You know, the jail's messed up, man. That jail is beyond messed up.
Plus, you look at the judicial, the mismanagement, you know, or Mr. Harvey called it judicial malpractice, when you got the backlog of all these cases and these people there waiting to be tried on these minor issues. You know, it's just look at the whole Young Thug. Look at that situation, man. How long it took. I mean, the longest trial in Georgia history.
Yeah,
you know?
This is it's almost like Rikers Island.
It is. Okay.
You know, the way that they are handling cases in Rikers is very similar to how things are being run over at Fulton County. And it's just, I think it's, like I said, I think it's a lack of, you know, humanity kind of thing, because there's no way you can really just see people in those kinds of conditions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
And not feel something. Like, how can you do that?
Yeah, so true. So true. Hey, man, I want to lighten it up just a little bit. And you and I had a brief discussion off mic about the Netflix thing. I call it basically, and I'm going to title this episode, Netflix TKO. It was indeed a technical knockout for a lot of people. Now, for me, I mean, honestly, and we're talking about the Paul and Tyson fight. You know, for me, I really had no interest in the undercard, in the card, in all those fights on the card. I did enjoy the two women boxers. It was a good fight.
Taylor Serrano.
The headbutts, that was hilarious. I mean, not hilarious. It was receiving, but what the manager said, she had a big head.
Yeah, that was like, yo, he's pissed. He's pissed right now.
It was just funny how he slipped that one in.
Yeah.
But bottom line is, man, Netflix, get your shit together. Damn, what? Dude, I mean, it's like 60 million people watched this. So it was a lot of people watching, 60 million worldwide, 60 million households, okay? So you have a situation where you know it's going to be massive, but you still got all the buffering. And it's not the first time it's happened with Netflix. They've done live stuff before where they've had these issues. And I have to give kudos to Amazon and their Thursday night football. They do a pretty good job with their live.
Right.
With Thursday night football. They figured it out. Now, of course, the audience is nowhere near what we're talking about with this fight, 60 million.
Yeah, right.
But still, Netflix had to know that this was coming, man. And it's just hilarious. On social media, you know how they skewer people.
The internet always wins.
Yes. So I'm just reading all this, but why could they not do better than this?
The only thing that I could say, man, is that, this is well beyond the scope of whatever they've done previously.
Yeah.
So I think it was still going to be a certain amount of trial and error to it.
Yeah.
But I figured that at some point, around 11 o'clock, we would see that was going to just start happening, because you could tell even earlier in the night,
Oh, yeah.
the way it was just doing the max headroom thing, I was just like, yeah, this is not going to be good. I thought it was going to kick folks out and not come back.
Yeah,
So
that's what I thought too.
At least give them props for, even if you may have had to reboot your system a couple times, you were able to get back in.
Yeah. And I've seen them do, the comedy specials. I saw, when they did the Chris Rock, they've done Dave Chappelle. But,
Right.
we're not even, comparing apples and oranges when it comes down to the size of the audience. But they got to get that fixed. But
True.
on to the true nature of the conversation here. 58 years old. And they asked him after the fight, of course, everybody knows by now that, he went the distance. He went the 8 rounds, 2-minute rounds instead of 3-minute rounds.
Thank God.
Yeah, thank God. Because I think even looking at Tyson's face, it was like,
After
he
round
was
two,
waiting.
I was just like, oh, he looks winded.
He is
He
looking
came
for that
back,
chair.
sat down, and was like,
Yeah.
deep breathing.
Yeah. And as somebody, I think all of us who grew up with Tyson,
Yeah.
we wanted to see him knock Jake Paul the F out.
Clean
We
out.
wanted
Clean
clean
out.
out.
Yeah.
And from that first round, I said, it's not going to happen tonight. A lot of people have described it as boring, and I'll agree, man, because typically Tyson is the predator in the ring.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what we're used to. We're used to him, going low and just coming in.
Right.
But he wasn't able to do that because his leg, the brace on his leg, Roy Jones Jr. is constantly screaming. I'm like, Roy, goddamn, calm down, dude. Because he's like, his leg. I'm worried about Mike.
Right.
I'm worried about his leg. I'm like, dude.
Right.
Then Rosie Perez, who how did they choose Rosie Perez to do commentary on the fight? I'm cool. I'm cool with Rosie.
Yeah, I like Rosie.
I love Rosie from Do the Right Thing. Going, yes, Mookie. But Rosie's there. She's concerned about the glove, him biting on the glove.
Yeah.
Why is he biting on the glove? I'm like, okay, look, here's the deal. Mike just in there for the money, and I could just tell. It got to the point where I said, and we all knew that. We all knew it was a big ticket. I mean, it was, 20 million
Yeah, something like that. 20 mil.
on the tape.
What he take home? Yeah.
So, we knew Mike was getting his retirement fund. It was the wrap up.
Yeah.
But when they went to Mike after this was all said and done, dude, and they asked him, are you going to fight again? And he said, kind of nodded yes. I said, oh, I'm not watching. I do not want to see. You want to see another Mike Tyson fight? And go ahead. Straight up. You heard me.
Yeah. It's rough when somebody can no longer perform their life's work.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And, it's kind of like Frankie Beverly in the last couple of years of him touring. You know what I mean? Like, he wasn't hitting any of the notes. So
it was painful.
It was painful to watch. And as a true Mike Tyson fan, to see the way he fought, he only threw 90-something punches.
Yeah.
He was at, 18% for those 90 punches, but it was only 90 punches, where Paul was like 227, 247, something like that. I would love to see a scenario where Mike Tyson could still be around his sport and do what he loves to do, but not necessarily in that same kind of condition. You know what I mean? Like, he just...
And I'll tell you, if Paul hadn't been such a fan and adored Mike so much, he probably would have went in for ego and just knocked Mike.
Well, you saw that. He called the 5th round, and you saw how aggressive he came out he started getting very aggressive in the 5th round, and then, I think Tyson threw a punch or something, and he kind of backed off, and then he kind of took it easy the rest of the fight. And so I don't know. So here's the thing. Jake Paul is definitely a disruptor, and I don't know if I'm.
No, he is what you call your P.T. Barnum. He is the P.T. Barnum of our times. He's
right,
disruptive.
But,
right.
to say that I'm not necessarily going to watch another Jake Paul fight. You know what I mean? He'd really have to start, along the path of real boxers.
So you said you're not going to watch another fight?
I probably won't. I'm not going to say I'll never, but I'm definitely I didn't check for the fights he had before this one, so I probably won't be watching another one. But what I will say is to Jake Paul, even if it was unconscious, thank you for allowing my man Mike Tyson to go out with a couple of bills in his pocket and a little bit of dignity because he didn't get knocked out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what, dude? It wasn't even about the knockout. I just wanted him to get out of there alive. I mean, we were like unleashing the prayer warriors, like please. Because Mike did the interview with USA Today, Yahoo Sports, and he basically said, when he was on the plane, he said he almost died.
What?
He almost died. The incident, the one that actually, the situation that actually delayed the fight the first time.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
He almost died.
That serious.
It was serious. He had to have blood, transfusions. I mean, he almost died.
I did not know it was that serious.
It was serious, man. So my point is, it's like knowing that this dude almost died and he's back in the ring and, it's been 6 months. I said, let's just get out alive, dog. So, I'm on one hand, if Mike says he wants to fight in the senior league, fight guys. Maybe you had Lennox Lewis.
Right. Lennox, yeah.
Roy Jones was there. Roy Jones Jr. Fight them dudes.
Yeah, because Roy Jones is looking like a straight heavyweight these days.
Oh, he's surpassed, what's his name? The Grill. George Foreman.
Right.
So I didn't even know that was Roy Jones. I said, damn.
Shoot, I didn't realize that was Lennox Lewis. I was Lennox looked. I was like, dude, did you shrink?
Look,
or maybe it's the locks. You know what I mean? Now that he doesn't have the locks, he's like.
They are somehow enjoying the fruits of their labor. They got some stuff left over, so good for them. Good for them. Hey man, next thing in here, and then we'll get into some tea. But Deion Sanders is now 8-2, man, with the Buffalo. So you got to give him his props.
Yeah.
A lot of folks felt that they may win 4 games this year. They've already won 8 games, man, and they could potentially – they've already secured a bowl appearance. And they could potentially be a true playoff contender. A lot of folks this week, as we tape, again, we do the recap of the week. There was a podcaster who put on a story that basically indicated or said that Deion and Shedeur, his son who plays quarterback, and he's an excellent quarterback, are looking at pairing when they go into the NFL. So whoever drafts Shedeur, Deion will be coach. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? So he, in this podcast, has basically indicated that it will be the Dallas Cowboys. And a lot of people are pushing back, say, hey, you just signed Dak to a $200 million contract. He's the highest paid player in the league. That's foolish, blah, blah, blah. But, at the fight, as we talk about the Jake Paul and Tyson, Michael Irvin, Jerry Jones came out because it was in his facility.
Yeah, right.
It was in Jerry World. And he's talking about he's advocating for Deion to be the coach. So I will say, man, and I've said this plenty of times, if Deion proves he's a good coach, which he has, he did it with Jackson, he's doing it with Colorado, give him a shot. There are worse coaches in the NFL right now. Coaches are getting fired in the NFL like, damn, every week.
Right.
And we're halfway through the season. So, I said give him a shot. Go ahead. You were about to say something.
I'll just say that, this is a man who now has an established track record taking a team from worst to first.
Absolutely.
So why would you not want to give him a shot? And it seems like, since the trend has started in basketball, with people moving around as they kind of need to or would like to, or putting in bids to be in certain places with certain players in order to, kind of stack a deck. And I mean, with LeBron and Bronny, I
Don't get me started.
I
Don't
think
get me
it's
started now.
no,
Go
I'm
ahead.
just saying
Yeah,
this is
I know what you're saying.
for
I get it.
for the Sanders family to be moving together as a unit.
Yeah.
I like it, especially because Deion has shown what he can do with
Yeah.
a team, whether it's through calling the right plays or the right mental, stimulation in order to get players in the right place.
Yep.
He's shown he's got it.
Yeah,
And
I
we
agree.
knew he was going to be looking for the NFL at some point.
Yeah. Which I hate the argument that says he cannot make it in the NFL because
Why wouldn't he?
yeah, and that's my point. That's my point.
Come on, man. People don't like
I
Deion
hear that.
and haven't liked Deion. You know what I mean?
I
Just
hear
because
that.
he's flashy.
And I say, what are y'all talking about? Do you
Right.
not see the level of coaching on a weekly basis? These guys know, I mean, honestly, right now with analytics and all the tools that they're using, man, I don't even know if it's real coaching anymore, the way it used to be.
Right.
But I'm just saying, but on the other hand, he's more than qualified. He could, based on what's in the league right now, he's comparable. He can make it happen. I'm going to say this, man. The Bronny thing and the LeBron thing, you can only compare it because it's quote unquote like nepotism. It's nepotism, guys.
Yeah. Yeah.
But on the other hand, on the talent side, Shador is the truth. I mean, in terms of as you watch him, he plays like an NFL play. He plays like an NFL quarterback already.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
already got the skills. He's already got the maturity. So, I'd love to see it happen. Even if it doesn't happen with the Cowboys, I mean, they're talking about some other teams who may draft and have the same scenario. So we'll have to just wait and see. But I think
I'm with it.
I wouldn't be shocked if it happened. I'll just say it like that. Yeah.
I would like to see it because I'm telling you, I
Yeah.
think I said it when Bronny first went over. I mean, that's a dream come true.
Yeah. I
Playing
agree.
with your dad or playing with your son.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, or being in a situation, like this one would be where the dad would be the coach and the quarterback. Oh man, come on.
Yep.
It's lovely.
I agree. All right, let's go ahead and do some tea, man.
Now then, children, it's time for tea.
It's tea time, y'all. Sipping the tea with Tanya B.
Again, Tanya B is pre-holiday, pre-Thanksgiving break, so I'm doing the tea for y'all, man. So just don't hit me up too bad. Don't hit me up too bad. Ray J issued threats to Pastor Jamal Bryant after an interview between the two went south. Ray J expressed his displeasure with how he was treated during the interview, calling it dirty and illegal. He demanded that the interview not be released and threatened to snatch somebody off the pulpit if it was. So Pastor Bryant responded and basically said, I'm so grateful to have recently had the opportunity to interview one of the few mavericks of this generation, referring to Ray J, who has been more than impactful in many different fields. He wrote, and he was writing this on his Instagram, on his social media. It was both surprising and disheartening to wake up to unfounded threats and baseless accusations directed at me. As part of our commitment to honest dialogue, we ensured that specific comments with potential legal ramifications were edited out of the interview to safeguard the best interest of a brother beloved. And I mentioned, in a conversation you and I had, man, we were just talking about this. You lose Kamala Harris and we gain Ray J. Because Ray J kind of come out of the blue. It's like as soon as Kamala lost, I'm like, where are all these Ray J headlines coming from? So why is Ray J talking so much right now? He's talking about Puff. He's talking about Diddy. Well, what's the deal? Why is is it a resurgence of Ray J?
Well,
Is it the Crystal commercials?
I think
Or
he's
the earbuds?
no, he's trying to promote the gagency. He's trying to promote the gagency. That's what he's trying to promote.
Okay. Should I ask?
Yeah. Okay, so obviously you didn't see the Nicki Minaj when he
Oh
popped up on
no,
Nicki Minaj's live,
I didn't
and
see
and
that.
he's talking about why is she dissing him because he's such a barb, he's such a Barbie, and she's like, when are you gonna come out the closet?
Oh, she went off on him.
She didn't really go off on him, but she's like, yo, we're cool, or we were cool, and so I'm not really understanding why if you're playing with me, you're coming up here on my live, and you've been trying to get my attention. And he's like, Nikki, it's because I love you, Nikki. I'm a Barbie. I'm a Barb, Nikki.
So
And
was
then
he
he said,
typing or was this?
no,
He was on. He was on.
He's
He was
on her
on.
live. She brought him on.
Okay. Okay. Now I
So,
got it. So
so
this is all
now
like a plea for help, a
it
cry
needs
for
to,
help.
if it's not, it's to me, that's what it looks like.
Really?
Because, I mean, if you'd have seen, you got to watch it just so that you can see, like, he's there
Yeah.
physically.
Okay. See, I don't
But
follow.
he's like,
I don't follow Ray J. I mean, it's
I
like I'm
mean, for
familiar,
what?
but
For what?
yeah.
For what? I mean, I respect, no, and don't get me wrong. I respect Ray J. I respect Brandy. I love what the family has been able to do.
Yeah. Me too.
And I bumped a couple of his songs.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, One Wish, that was a joint. So,
hmm
but I don't know what, he's looking weird these days. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Yeah.
And if you're going to be talking about snatching a pastor out of the pulpit,
Oh.
and it's not that dude from Brooklyn who finally got arrested for faking
The bishop.
it's not him. And
Yeah.
you're going to snatch Jamal? No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, man. The half of Atlanta is going to be in
Well,
your ass, yo. You know what I mean?
You just better be glad Tanya B is not here because she has special words for Jamal.
I'm sure.
I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, man. Next, there was a big story about Denzel, planning to retire, because Gladiator 2 is coming out. So, of course, they're out there getting the hype, and they got some hype with him saying he's going to retire, completing more projects, including a role in the upcoming Black Panther 3. Black Panther 3, it was reported by various outlets that the 69-year-old actor said he's only interested in working with the best filmmakers and wants to take on roles he hasn't done before. The plan included him playing Shakespeare's Othello on Broadway, playing Othello in a film adaptation, and also playing Hannibal and King Lear in separate projects. But, he's come out, and I have a clip from Season BF podcast because he wants to clarify what he actually said. So let's go ahead and go to the clip.
I didn't say I was going to go into retirement. I said that it has to be a level of interest to me. I'm more interested in getting behind the camera.
Okay.
So that's about 5 years out.
Okay.
It's very difficult, and I may have used the word retire, but I look at life in 3 sections. You learn, you earn, and you return. I'm in the return part of life, and it's also informed by, and even the interview that I did has been informed since by me going on tour for 3 weeks with my sons and my daughters. And I really see, and now going on tour with Paul and Fred, they're taking over. That I'm not retiring. It's not like, okay, on June 5th, that's it.
Yeah.
But to think I'm going to run as far as they are or as you are, I'd be a fool. And I think that's the ego that thinks, oh, yeah, I can do it. No, you can't. No, you can't. Your stunt man is doing it now,
Yeah.
So I'm less interested in running and jumping.
Yeah.
You let Paul and John David run and jump, and to think I can still do it, that you're a fool. And I don't want to be foolish.
Yeah, good point. Good point. And man, I do respect Denzel of all the people left in Hollywood in the business. And he makes a lot of sense. And I was joking with you, and I said, yeah, I mean, I wish Tyson.
Yeah, I heard that, yeah.
I'm sure they connect in some way. Hell, Denzel probably was at the fight, but he probably needed to say that to Tyson too. Hey, don't be foolish.
Yeah.
So go ahead, man.
Yeah. Ego is even the word ego, even if it's not just, the fact that people are acting in an egotistical way. Ego is in the news a lot right now. You know what I mean?
It is.
And, so kudos to Denzel, one of my favorites of all time, for even saying that he's going to be moving in a little bit of a more focused manner going forward in his career. You know, originally it was reported that he was going to be in Doctor Strange, and now then it came out it was actually Black Panther. But I was getting very excited about the fact that Denzel could be playing a possible villain. You know what I mean?
The Bond character.
No, in the Marvel world.
That doctor. Okay.
That Doctor Strange. Yeah.
Okay,
So
wow. Okay.
you know, because they were rumoring that he would actually be playing the villain who was in Doctor Strange's first movie, Dormammu.
Oh, okay.
But in a physical form. And I love to see Denzel as a bad guy, yo. You know what I mean?
Oh, Training Day.
You know, yeah, exactly.
Ultimate.
Yeah, man. Enough respect to Denzel. You know what I mean? And I love the way he's doing it. So
I agree. Big congrats to Craig Melvin, man. Melvin is set to replace Hoda as the co-anchor on NBC's Today show alongside Savannah Guthrie. I know a lot of y'all don't watch that, but you do see Craig Melvin a lot. You know, and I'm happy for him. Currently, he's a news anchor on Today and co-host of The Third Hour, and you will be seeing him in that role beginning in January of 2025. And, you know, I'm going to get you guys ready, man. Just one last thing, and we'll move on to a little bit of politics, man. But for the holiday binge, I know some of you may not go anywhere because Spirit Airlines may be shut down. But let's hope not, because the brothers...
It's just restructuring. It's just a bankruptcy.
It's restructuring. Just that... They're not shutting down, y'all. Don't panic. But, you know, to get your mind away from the madness, man, here are my top 5 favorite series from 2024. Reasonable Doubt on Hulu, which has just been renewed for season 3. Resumed Innocent, Jake Gyllenhaal was excellent, man, on Apple. If you get a chance to watch it, it is excellent. The Penguin, of course, I've already talked about that on Max. One of the best series I've seen in years. And I got to give it to Colin Farrell, man. This dude... Who would think he's an Irishman? You know what I'm saying? Looking like he looks under all that makeup and putting on that kind of performance. Just that alone.
He's dope.
Then, I mean, it was just amazing. Fallout, which is based on the game Fallout on Amazon Prime, was just unexpectedly good. And I got to give it to Jodie Foster, man. True Detective, Night Country was just really surprisingly good as well. So those are my top 5. If you're looking to binge, you got time off for the holidays, those are my 5 to check out, okay? And real quick, just a couple of things I didn't get squeezed in. Be on the lookout for a Boys to Men biopic. You know, I said this online, and it got a lot of traction. I believe the Pointer Sisters deserve a strong biopic over a lot of these guys who are nothing against Boys to Men. I think they eventually need one, but I don't know why the Pointer Sisters, because you got to understand, the Pointer Sisters really are one of the biggest female groups of all time.
Truly.
And they've not really had, you know, a bio.
Yeah, and they had a country album. They had, you know, they R&B, pop superstars. I mean, Neutron Dance made, you know, Neutron Dance was huge. So, you know, and that's just, you know, what was the other one? I'm So Excited. You know what I mean?
Excited, you know, Slow Hand.
Come on, man. You know,
Fire. They did the Fire, the remake of the Bruce Springsteen song.
Oh yes.
But my point is, when people ask, if you ever hear people, you know, they do all these they'll do okay, who are the biggest black female groups of all time? They never get mentioned.
Yeah.
But when you go to the stats, they up there, like definitely always top 5. So my whole point, kudos to Boys to Men, but I do believe, you know, it just and I know, you know, they had a lot of drama. That's why I think it's.
That's what I was just about to say. I don't know how much how much drama the Pointer Sisters had, other than, you know, old girl leaving the one sister leaving the group.
Oh, there was a lot of drama behind the scenes. But I think, yes, dude. Drugs, all the, you know.
Well, yeah,
but I think,
yes.
But I think the whole thing is a lot of it versus what we deal with today and social media. You know, they really did a great job covering up a lot of what was going on behind the scenes. And I think they don't want to bring that. They may not want to bring it up again.
Got it.
But I think eventually it'd make a good story.
Yeah.
So, okay. All right, man, that's the tea. That's all I got. Ain't got no more. Ain't got no more, brother. That's all the tea. Now, let's do a little politics, man. Let's do a little round table.
Okay.
And I want to ask you this question, and just give me your direct thoughts on this, man, because again, we put the podcast, the podcast account, we added that to Blue Sky, so now. I'm keeping X for a minute because I need to see the foolishness that's going on there. And, for me, it's entertainment. I love seeing the foolishness on X. But I put the podcast on Blue Sky, which is the guy who used to own X or Twitter back in the day, Jack something. I forgot his last name. You might remember. But my point is, man, are you outraged by these picks as much as the folks running through the streets like Godzilla is coming?
You're talking about Trump's nominees?
Yeah.
The nominees?
I mean, but it's like for me watching the outrage, and it's like Godzilla. You see the people running, screaming and yelling, Are you as
outrage is not really where I am because I knew he was going to do something like this.
Well, maybe I should say, are you panicked?
No, not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
And I tell you why. Matt Gaetz, Pete Hegseth, I think are possibly just throwaway picks. Mm-hmm. Sacrificial lambs in order to get a couple of other people through.
What's her name? Tulsi
Gabbard?
Yeah. Is she one of those as well?
She's been hanging around Trump for a while now.
She's been hanging around Putin. They call her Russia's girlfriend.
Yeah, but anyway. She hasn't been a Democrat for a while. So I'm not really expecting. I'm getting exactly what I expect from a Tulsi Gabbard.
Okay.
What I will say is, what kind of scares me, really, is this whole Elon and Vivek Ramaswamy coming in as some kind of auditors of the government and what's going on. Not saying that there's not a lot of waste. Of course we know there's waste. We have departments that can't even account for where their budget is, let alone, totally how they mismanaged it. You know what I mean? And overspending and kickbacks. I mean, this is that part of politics. That level of corruption has kind of always been there. So that shouldn't surprise anyone. But like I said, with these two guys not really having, not being a part of the government, but having some kind of sway in the government, I mean, they're already, they said that Elon is taking a meeting with the ambassador from Iran.
Yeah.
Hold up, bro. Trump hasn't even taken over yet.
You haven't officially been sworn in or
excuse me. There is no
January.
Right. There is no, and there will be no sworn in for Elon.
It's a separate organization that won't ever have to be
accountable.
Accountable to the Senate.
Right. Exactly. And that's if no
Senate hearing for Elon.
Right. I'm telling you, what scares me more than anything, though, so the fact that Republican senators are already coming out saying that they will basically green light whatever they do. Whatever he wants to do, whoever he wants to pick, feel like the people have given the mandate and we're going to make sure that Trump gets whatever he needs.
I got you. Okay.
That scares me more than anything.
All right. I had said this, man. I get it, and it's not that I am outraged. There's always a level of concern, but there was an article that came out that said, "Let Trump be Trump," and because that's the only way we're going to move on. That's the only way we're going to stop it. Because if you leave him to his own devices, typically he fails.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you keep putting guardrails up, if you keep putting shadow governments under him and people behind him and keep cleaning up the mess, he's always going to take credit for the mess you cleaned up. He's always going to take credit for the success. So,
and I'm telling you, man, talking to people who voted for Trump, they have a very, very optimistic view of what they're looking for.
Okay.
And truly, those types of people, well, I can't speak for everyone, of course, but a lot of the people that I'm seeing that are voting for Trump are very, very hopeful about what he is going to be able to do based upon what he's talked about.
Okay.
And, you know, I'm going to say, I will go on record and say that I don't want any president to fail at their job when I'm living in the country. You know what I mean? I don't want a president to fail. But at the same time, Trump has not given me anything to say, I believe in what he's saying, or I believe in his thought process, and I will give cadence or credence. I would give credence to what he's talking about. So yeah, I can jump on board. I can't, you know.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna leave it at that, and we'll come back to it when these folks are all in place, you know, and we'll have that conversation after the first of the year. How you feeling? Okay. Do you care if Kamala Harris had paid endorsers? Does it matter to you? Oprah's denying it.
To hear that there was somebody paid and she still lost?
Well, you know, Oprah, they said, basically the report came out online, and this is all alleged.
Yeah.
Meg Thee Stallion got $5 million. Lizzo got $3 million. Eminem got $1.8 million. And again, going back to the Oprah getting $1 million, and there were more. And there were, Call Her Daddy podcast got 6 figures, allegedly, you know. Now, for me, I wish, and I have to say this, I guess because it's politics, sometimes you need to let people know up front that these are paid endorsers. You know, it's just like if you run a commercial and you got a testimonial, hey, blah, 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 you see the little line on the commercial that says paid endorser. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe there should have been some kind of disclaimer, because I was wondering, I'm like, damn, these are just some incredible endorsements. People are coming out of the woodworks. But, you know, the $1 billion, they went through that like water, you know, and part of it, a lot of it went to these endorsers. So it's interesting to see, and I'm wondering what kind of traction this is going to get. But if anything, it might show, hey, you know what? Let's not do this again.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping for.
Let's not pay half of Hollywood. Give that money some, you know, because you could have taken that money and put it where it needed to go in these red states to flip them, like Georgia.
Right.
Apparently. Hey, like, one more thing. Howie, you giving me an article, man, AJC, about the redistricting and how it hurt Georgia. We knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
That ain't no surprise. We knew when that passed, they got the maps drawn. We knew what the challenge is going to be. You could have met the challenge because you had enough time to know in advance. I'm more concerned about party management. In the AJC, they're talking about Nikema Williams stepping down. She was of course, she's in Congress and also is head of the Georgia Democratic Party. A lot of people stepped to her after this defeat. There have been a lot of questions about management within the state, how resources have been applied. Apparently, and this is based on just what you're seeing in the AJC, Senator Ossoff is very concerned because he's running against Kemp, Governor Kemp of Georgia, in a few years, and he expressed the fact that he does not have full faith and confidence in the current party. So apparently we can expect some change with Nikema stepping down and making that position, which I can't believe is a part-time position. I can't believe
crazy
in a state this important.
Right.
But apparently they're also concerned about Trumper Burt Jones, who's running for governor of Georgia, who's going to make Kemp look like a liberal. So, you know, my whole point is, I think at this point, y'all need to do what you got to do. Stop wasting the money and put the money where it needs to be applied. Stop spending the money in the blue areas that are already going to vote and go into some of these red areas who don't know who you are. That's what I think. I'm going to leave it at that because I want to move to one final thing. David Axelrod pushing Rahm Emanuel. David Axelrod was a big wig in the Obama, and he's all over CNN. So he comes out and says Rahm Emanuel, who was the mayor of Chicago, and recently he's been like the ambassador to Japan. They sent his ass to Japan. They said, don't fucking just stay in Japan. So they sent him to Japan for a reason. And now he's talking about him being in charge of the DNC. And AOC, who can see them, that has not been sparing any words. She said it's time to move on from the old guard and look to what's working. And I say she's right. I mean, we need to get rid of the Obama retreads, the Bill Clinton retreads, the Hillary Clinton retreads, the Joe Biden retreads. It's time to move on. You got to look at what works and quit just taking the advice of these people who've just been here forever, who just keep getting a check. You know, so I just wanted to mention that before we wrap up, man.
Please.
You know, it just amazes me because it all comes back to what we're dealing with in Georgia.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of where the money, all you got to do is follow the money.
Yeah, and like I said, man, and we're wasting tons of it because Jack Smith.
But you know what, really? See, you got me fired up because I go back to Mueller.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
It just goes to show you, man.
And Merrick Garland. I'm like, what did y'all do?
The sorriest. That was I'm so disgusted with the way Trump has kind of just manhandled the legal system.
Yeah.
In the 4 years he wasn't president.
I told y'all it's the penguin. It's the penguin. It is penguin-esque.
Right. Cobblepot.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It's penguin-esque. That's all I got to say. All right, y'all. Hey, love your thoughts. Go to castropolis.net. Choose the people poll. Leave us a voice message, man. I'll play it back. Don't forget, y'all, support the podcast. 25 for 2025 is happening now until the end of the year, man. Just go to castropolis.net. Again, I mentioned now we are on Blue Sky. Now we can use our whole name because you know, X or Twitter had, you know, they can only use X number of characters. So it was, this is the G Pod on X, but now we can say this is the G Podcast. So you can search and find us on Blue Sky.
Thank you, Blue Sky.
Thank you, Blue Sky. That's all I got to say, bro. Talib, as always, man, you know, you're a gentleman and a scholar, brother. I appreciate you, man. The man.
Appreciate you, Tommy. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you for
to talk some smack, you know.
Hey, you know, that's what we do. That's what we do. We keep it moving. You know, we give our perspective from in a different light. So
yes.
But man, I really appreciate it. Got to shout out, of course, Howie, man. Shout out Tanya B. Shout out Vi. Vi is in another world because the Bulldogs beat Tennessee, so he's happy. He's out of his mind. And of course, we're taping on a Sunday this week, so we're taping pregame of the Falcons. So real quick, man, just give between the Falcons and Broncos. Who's your pick? Give me your pick. Falcons. You pick Falcons over the Broncos?
Yep, and I think they're gonna cover the spread too. So
okay, all right. I've been effing up after Kamala. I'm afraid to pick anything after Kamala.
Yeah, I wish Howie was there. We should have gotten into that last week with Howie.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go with the Falcons. I'll follow you. Okay,
man, you gotta love losers.
There you go. And with that, y'all, episode 246 is in the can. Peace, power to the people, man. You know, go get that icy hot Iron Mike. Give me Shaq hooked up with the icy hot. Y'all have a great week.
Peace.
You've been listening to This is the G Podcast. And This is the G Podcast is a production of the Castropolis Podcast Network. Thanks for listening.